Hey guys, today you're going to take a learning check to help me kind of measure where we are in understanding how to analyze patterns in relationships. And before you take that learning check in our Google Classroom, I wanted to take a minute to kind of clearly explain to you and model and think aloud for you how to solve these types of problems, just so you had a clear understanding of how to do it on your own. Hopefully you are following the Google Classroom directions and you're watching this video first, because you're going to find it helpful for what I need you to do in just a minute on the learning check. Now, let's get started. We're going to do 2 of these questions together, and then I'm going to give you some directions for your learning check for you to do next. So if we look at number 1, Kiko and Grace volunteer at the community center, and Kiko has already volunteered 25 hours and Grace has volunteered 15 hours. Each week, both volunteer another 10 hours. Complete the table to show the total hours that each has volunteered after each week. Use the rule add 10. So in just a few minutes, you're going to see this kind of problem on your learning check. And I'm going to ask you to have scratch paper and pencil where you're going to create a table using a picture like what you see here. So I'm going to model for you what that's going to look like on your scratch paper. So if you look at the table under part A, if you were doing this at home, you would make a table that looks like this. And you would divide it into 3 parts. This is what your scratch paper is going to look like. And you're going to follow the table at the top, and it's going to say week, and Kiko, and Grace. And then you're going to divide your table into 4 weeks. Well, there's a starting first, and then there's 4 weeks after that. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So this is start, and this is what you would be doing on your scratch paper at home during your learning check, okay? And this is week 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now, they said that the rule was add 10. So they're starting with different amounts of volunteer hours, but they're doing the same number of hours each week. So if I add 10, first I'm going to fill out Kiko's hours. So 25 plus 10 is 35. 35 plus 10 is 45. 45 plus 10 is 55. 55 plus 10 is 65. And 15 plus 10 is 25, plus 10 is 35, plus 10 is 45, plus 10 is 55. So I've completed the table, and on your learning check, I need you to do this for each of the scenarios that you're going to be given so that you can look at this table and answer all of the questions that are going to follow. So now that I've got my table, part B says choose all of the ordered pairs that represent the number of hours that Kiko and Grace have volunteered. So Kiko is X and Grace is Y. So when I look at this table, I can turn these into ordered pairs. This is the same thing as 25, 15. And this is the same thing as 35, 25. And this is the same thing as 45, 35. This is 55, 45. And this is 65, 55. These are my X values in this column. This is X, and this is Y. So now I'm going to look at the ordered pair options and see which ones match. 10, 10. No, that's not one of mine. 35, 25. Yes, that is one of my ordered pairs, so I would select that one. 45, 55. No, I see 55, 45, but that matters because this has X and Y in this order, and their X and Y on that one doesn't match. But if I look at the 4th choice, 55, 45, yes, that is correct. Has to be in the right order. And then last but not least, 65, 55. Has to be in the right order. You're going to see on your learning check in just a minute several questions that say choose all. This word right here is really important because you've got to pick all of them that apply. Part C says describe the relationship between each of the hours that between the hours that each person has volunteered. So when I'm looking for relationships, I'm looking at these 2 numbers and I'm thinking, how are they connected? What do I know about them? 25 and 15. Okay, well, I know that the relationship here is 10. The difference is 10. If I have 15 and I add 10, I'm going to get 25. If I have 25 and I add 10, I'm going to get 35. if I have 35 and I add 10, and so on. So what I know is Kiko always has 10 more hours than Grace. So if I was asked to describe that, I would say that in a sentence. Kiko always has 10 more hours than Grace. And that's because he began with 10 hours more than she did. They increased at the same speed. They increased 10 hours each time, or at the same rate. But they started with Kiko having 10 more. Okay, let's look at question number 2. So question number 2 says, there are 12 face cards and 4 aces in a standard deck of cards. Complete the table to show how many face cards and aces are in different numbers of card decks. Use the rules, add 12 and add 4. So if this is my learning check in just a minute, I'm going to go create a table right over to the side that looks just like this table on my scratch paper. So I'm going to draw a table on my scratch paper. I'm using the image to guide me. I'm going to divide it into 3 columns. This is going to be my decks. This is going to be my face cards. This is going to be my aces. And then I'm going to divide it into 4 rows. For 4 decks. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? I'm doing this just like I want you to do this on your scratch paper. So the rule for face cards is add 12. Okay? And the rule for aces is add 4. So that means I'm starting with 12 and I'm starting with 4. Now I'm going to focus on just the face cards. If the rule is add 12, 12 plus 12 is 24. 24 plus 12 is 36. 36 plus 12 is 48. Now over here the rule is add 4. So 4 plus 4 is 8. 8 plus 4 is 12. And 12 plus 4 is 16. So now, just like over in my other example, I have just created a set of ordered pairs. Think of this as X and this as Y. And so that means my first ordered pair is 12, 4. My second ordered pair is 24, 8. My third ordered pair is 36, 12. And my fourth ordered pair is 48, 16. Part B says, use the total number of face cards and aces to form ordered pairs. That's what we just did. Graph and label them below. So I'm going to start at my origin, always at 0, 0. I'm going to go across to 12, 4. Well, if you notice, I have 10 and I have 20. I don't have an option for 12. Well, right in between 10 and 20, that line that you see right there is 15. So I know that 12 is in between 10 and 15. And so that means it's going to be in this space, and I'm going to go up to 4. It's going to be right there at 12, 4. Then I'm going to go over to 24, which is just before 25, and go to 24, 8. Then I'm going to go to 36, which is just after 35, 12. And then I'm going to go to 48, which is just before 50, 16. And if I connect these, I can see the rate at which the relationship is increasing. What would the ordered pair 84, 28 represent? Okay, well, 84 is the X value, and I know that the X's are the face cards, and the Y are the ace cards. So that would mean it would represent 84 face cards and 28 aces. That's what that means. That's how we're interpreting that ordered pair. Because if we just write 84, 28, someone looking at that doesn't have any understanding of what that means. But if we say what it represents, this word represent is very important. That means, what does it mean in this problem? Well, in this problem, it means 84 face cards and 28 aces. Okay, now that you understand how to draw your own table on your scratch paper, here's what I need you to do. I need you to get some, make sure you have enough scratch paper. 1 or 2 pieces will be enough. Get a pencil and go to a quiet place where you can focus and attend without being distracted. Then when you're in that place, I need you to go into the Google Classroom and click on the Topic 15 Learning Check. The first thing it's going to ask you to do is type in your name. Please type in your first and your last name, because our entire grade level is going to take this assessment, and some of you have the same first name. So I need your first name and your last name. I want you to answer all of the questions, and then before you click submit, I want you to scroll all the way back to number 1 and look at each one of your answers and double check them. You have all of the time in the world that you need for this, so I don't want you to feel rushed at all. But I do need you to give your best effort so I can really see, okay, what is it that my students understand, and what is it that my students might still need my help with. If you are a student who normally has a reader or a calculator as a part of your accommodations, please make sure that you turn your reader on, your Google Read Write. It will read the questions to you. And if you are a student who normally uses a calculator in our math classroom, you may use your calculator on your learning check. If you do not normally have a calculator in our classroom, please do not use that on your learning check. Good luck, and I'm excited to see how well you all do. And I will look at all of your results this weekend and create a learning plan for us starting on Monday. I hope you have a fantastic Easter weekend. I miss you. I love each and every one of you, and I'll talk to you soon.